rain, and it's overflowing gently, but it's all elementary, my friend. And we are here this evening. If you've got tickets to Oasis, by the way, stuff you sods, because I couldn't, and I was there for about 5 hours. And but I'm obviously much richer than you are now after forking out all of that dollar bills. But I'm not alone. Thank God. Thank God it's not just me this evening. Otherwise, you'd all be very upset very, very quickly, because we do have back from his Holly Bobs. He was with the team on Thursday. I was a bit upset that they got to see him first, but I'll make my peace with that. We can stay friends, but it is Samuel. Good evening, Samuel. How are you?
I'm all right. I was better last week when I was on holiday and the weather was better, and I didn't have to worry about football and all the rest of it. But no, I'm very well. It's lovely to be with you again.
What was the weather like then? Because it wasn't nice here, so you must have been somewhere pretty.
Pure sun, yeah, Mallorcan sun. It was good. It was reliable. The bar was, well, not free. It was paid for before I got there, but once I got there, it was free. So it was very much enjoyed. Very nice week away. But the last couple of days has been a bump down to reality. I can tell you. Full work today, feeling a bit rough, etc. So yeah,
sucks, doesn't it? Where it takes the shine off a good holiday, doesn't it? Really.
Done it just. Nothing like 350 emails to destroy your relaxed time. But there we go.
Yeah, but it could be worse. You could, I don't know really. You could support a team that's not playing very well at the moment. I'm not saying anything at all, Samuel.
Who would do that?
But you will notice, unfortunately, Charlotte isn't with us this evening. She's poorly bad. She's been struck down by poorly bad teeth. So, kids, make sure you brush your teeth and floss. I'm not insinuating anything at all, Charlotte, in case you're watching ready to give me abuse. I'm sure you do. But she's not with us. But unfortunately, we do have a very special guest with us, a man of many talents, man of many places and visions and places that he has been. You would have seen him on the Overlap recently. I've seen him on Sky Sports. You'll see him on his own TikTok. You can check him out on his YouTube. But we're very lucky to have him here with us this evening. It's Martin Sanders. Good evening, Martin. How are you?
Josh, I'm really privileged to be here. So thank you very much, Sam. Good to see you. It's been a crazy start to the season, hasn't it? It's been a tough couple of weeks as a Southampton fan. It's been a rocky start to life back in the Premier League. I think we all expected it to be difficult. Don't think we expected it to be as difficult as it has been. Our fans are already calling for the manager's head already. Well, some parts are, which is crazy after 3 games.
It happens. It happens, and you're not alone. You're not on your own with that sort of fan base, as I'm sure Sam will attest to at some point. But in the chat already, we've got Heather. Heather, good evening, Heather. I'm sure she's looking forward to the Bournemouth conversation, which will be coming. Do not despair. Talk Forest TV. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. And Spenny fan Chris is with us. Fellow football fans. Just say what show we might have. Save the best to last. I'm not sure what she's insinuating. I'm just going to go through it in the order that tickles my pickle and floats my boat. So there's Graham as well. Good evening, Graham. And Simon. Simon's here. Graham said it could be worse. It could be 351 emails, Sam. Could be worse.
Is. I logged off a couple of hours ago, so I'm pretty sure it is.
And Simon's asking me to leave Charlotte alone because I'm a big meanie. I've never mean to Charlotte, but when I am, it's only because she deserves it, because she bullies me nice and hard. So don't worry, I'm sure she'll get it in. 25 Christine hates football at the moment. Damn refs. I'm at the point I don't even care about referees anymore. I think I've just embraced the fact that they're all bad. And it's nothing going to change. So I'm just living with it. But talking of all bad, let's get it done. This feels like this happens so many times every season, and I almost feel bad. Sam goes away, he has some pleasant time, something nice happens, normally his birthday, and then he has to come back on the Man United upsetting him every time. So let's get it out the way, and then we can move on to happier things. Although not for Martin, but that's a spoiler alert. But Sam, Manchester United 0, Liverpool 3. How did that make you feel?
What a load of rubbish! Oh my word! What a load of rubbish! Yeah, not great. Not great. I wasn't really looking forward to it because didn't like it this early on in the season for starts. You want to sort of build, see how your team is to try and see, and I didn't kind of know what to expect. I was away, so I didn't get to see the Brighton game. I saw highlights and the disaster at the end, and you're thinking, okay, well, let's see. But it was bad. First 20 minutes, okay, but beyond that, just a lot of the same, really. A lot of the same, different kind of maybe errors in different ways to last season, but still pretty poor. It's a home or away, but at home is even worse, really even worse. So didn't feel great. It looked like it could even be a lot worse at one point as well. I think you can see today I've stayed well off of social media because United fans are just, it's like civil war, absolute war going on. Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. This player's rubbish. This player's rubbish. This player who was rubbish, but if we had him, it'd all be better. All of that nonsense is kind of going on today. So I think it's a lot to digest. And with 3 games in, you're thinking you don't want to go over the top, overboard with the performance, but it was, from a Man United perspective, pretty shabby.
Oh, that was very reserved. I like that. Pretty shabby. I think what you say is only 3 games in, but one thing that I have seen a lot of people say is 3 games in this season, 3 years in now of Ten Hag. So he's had plenty of transfer windows, spent a shed load of money, he's brought a lot of players in. Do you think really it is just early days still in this season, or do you think, when he's in his 3rd season, people are justified to maybe react in the manner of which they have?
I think they're justified to an extent, because if I look at my own expectations for this season, I think I said it on the preview pod, I was expecting things to be up and down. Things aren't perfect. Lots changed behind the scenes. Let's be honest, Ten Hag was an FA Cup final away from the boot anyway, and Ineos couldn't find a replacement in the summer despite trying and talking to people. So we kind of knew what we were going into. My hopes were for more controlling games. I want to see a control. I've not seen us play a controlled 90 minutes pretty much. I want to see a plan in terms of what we're doing. And I want to see that we're starting to not do stupid things, and we're backing when there's a real style of play. I think that's a lot what United fans, we're not expecting. We know we're not challenging. We're realistically in a top 4 fight, and he has to be there. But after 3 games, okay, Fulham wasn't great, but you get the win on opening day. Brighton, okay, crazy thing at the end that happened. If you suddenly walk out of that game with a draw, then it's not the worst in the world. But, they're talking about like United have lost all 3 games. We've lost 2 of the 3, but one of them was in the last minute. The Liverpool performance was not acceptable. And rightfully, he's going to be under pressure. He's going to be under pressure. He knew he was going to be under pressure. And you can see that in how defensive he's come out post-match already. He knows it. He knows the only thing that is going to save him is performance. He needs performance and results. In terms of he's spent a lot of money. He's brought a lot of players in. Hard to judge a lot of what he's done for this season because 2 of the names aren't there yet. No. Lenny Yoro and Aguate, who's going to take some time to get fit by the sounds of it anyway. Xerxes clearly didn't understand what was going on yesterday in terms of the style of play. Every time they showed him, Bruno Fernandes was trying to tell him what to do, to tell him where he needed to be. And it just didn't look like a man that understood his role in the system. And he's not going to be probably our out-and-out striker. That's not kind of his role, really. So you only really had Mazraoui, who I've been quite impressed with so far. And I don't think it was his kind of...
I love commentators. I love him taking a shot. And they go, Mazraoui!
Well, he did have a shot at one point, and that creeps in. That'd be perfect for him. But and then I thought, De Ligt didn't have a bad game yesterday. He wasn't a fault. He was just... Problem is he had the bloody Alamo coming at him because we kept giving it away in midfield. So he was outnumbered 2 every time. I thought he was okay. So I think it's been difficult to go at the signing this season. Certainly need more out of what he's bought in the past few. Onana needs to step up. We've all written off Anthony, let's be honest. Mason Mount, we're hoping for, he's injured again. So those kind of things, they're the ones he's going to be judged on. But they clearly, Ineos have backed him. That's the thing. Ineos have backed him. They've backed the backroom staff, the technical staff. So they're not going to react that quickly, I think, as everyone's expecting. And it's the same problem as it was last season. Who's the man you get in? Everyone's out, get him out, get him out. You need to have the man that's coming in to replace it. And I think it's moving towards an inevitability that we're going to get there unless something drastic happens. But he seems to be sticking by maybe this principle, this new way of working is going to take longer. But we just still look so exposed. One stupid pass and we are we are destroyed, and you can't do that against Liverpool.
Yeah, because I mean, I think there were things like, I mean, the Casemiro signing for me, that was always meant to be like a stopgap.
He should have been alone. Should have been alone for the season.
Yeah,
He was good that first season.
Yeah, and people need to appreciate. I mean, I love the fact his missus is posting pictures on Instagram, but look at all these trophies that he's won while he was playing at Real Madrid, because that's difficult. Winning trophies at Real Madrid is really difficult. So, you need to put that out there. But the one thing that I've seen, and I'm interested to see what your opinion is as a United fan, there was a lot of obviously criticism on Casemiro, which you can't hide away from that performance. But then as well, what's sort of gone under the radar is that Mainu didn't have the bestest game and was dominated quite a bit. Do you put that down to just Liverpool are, I know they're my team, but let's be fair, they're probably the top two, one of the top two at a push, top three sides in the league. So it's always going to be difficult. But the fact that, as you said, the formation and having Casemiro alongside him is just, do you think is that sort of pressure, or do you think as a young player he's just still learning and that's going to happen against the top teams?
I think the thing is, as you said, one thing Liverpool are very good at is that kind of press and hounding, and you could see it. Mainu was having to do some incredible things just to keep the ball and get out of those tight situations, and he's very good in tight situations. And I just don't think that structure in midfield is not right. You're seeing he was just so isolated in areas, and he made a mistake for the second. He dwelt on it too long. But he did some other bits where he got out of tight areas, particularly in the first half, and then played a ball forward. And actually, we were in a decent transitional moment, and then we wasted it. But that came from Mainu. So the midfield structure isn't right. Casemiro, I saw a piece today. He's not playing the role he did at Real Madrid. We're not using him for probably what we thought he is. He used to give it to Kroos, and he'd kind of he'd do the little mopping up bits. He's covering massive spaces, which is not his game. Yeah. And he was
like 74 now as well, isn't he?
He's only 32. But the crazy thing is, he's only 32.
Good Lord, he looked older than me. I could move better than that. My knees went years ago.
But the crazy thing is that in the first two games, he wasn't bad. I didn't see the Brighton game. In the Fulham game, I thought he was decent. He looked like he trimmed up a little bit. But he's just not in that midfield setup to help him. He made two horrendous errors, decision-making, which is something that you would expect much better of him of. That first pass he played was ridiculous. And Liverpool knew it. Liverpool knew when Casemiro got the ball to press. Oh. That was the thing. And so, from the Mainu perspective, and he is young. He's going to make errors and he's going to do it. And he's not in a settled midfield. He's not coming again into a midfield where you've got everything sorted and you're just putting a piece in. Midfield isn't right and looks like it's not going to be right until we're all now hoping that Ugarte is now the best defensive midfielder you've ever seen, having not played this season, because that's the pressure we always put on new players because they come into a crap side with players not playing well, and you're expecting that guy to suddenly be, flipping Franz Beckenbauer or something. It's going to take some time.
And it's not just that he's coming in from a league where it wasn't being challenged. Let's be fair, it's not a very challenging league he's been previously, and it takes time to adjust up to this league. And I think the one thing that I think people have missed out on is everybody said, and we said on the show a number of times, with your new ownership, your new setup, and everything, it's a couple of years for United to get it right. Personally, I think they've made the wrong choice in keeping the manager. They waited too long to pull the trigger, so good names that were out there were just snapped up too soon, personally. But it's going to take time. You've got a lot of chaff to get rid of in that squad, and
they did get rid of a lot. You look at the window, a lot have gone. A lot have gone this summer. Some that you'd rather went than others. But that there is a massive current turnover that they need, and a massive change in approach, and they haven't helped themselves. I don't think the pre-season wasn't great. There was issues with, as all clubs had Euros coming back. But the thing I think that Ten Hag, for me, isn't helping himself with is everything you hear is about time or is about cut, and
stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan. I understand it's coming. And I understand that this early on this season, but it's what we heard last season. It's what you heard. And you think there's a certain point when everybody's looking around and going, okay, I think Slot's a difficult argument because of that Liverpool team was the same team that played last season.
He wasn't coming into a broken team, was he?
He's tweaking, and he said that worked, so we just tweak that. But you know how Ange Postecoglou plays. Will it be successful? We don't know. But there's a clear kind of way of doing it. You're already starting to see different things. Okay, Chelsea looks a bit suicidal at times, but they're starting to implement something. The wait and see approach is, well, we're all questioned. We bought Mason Mount last season. Why? Where's he fitting in? I still have that same question. And I worry that I'm going to have the same questions about one or two of what we're doing at the minute, because I liked some of what we've been doing. I liked the first 20 minutes. I thought, actually, I'm watching it going, do you know what? We're actually trying to play against you. Where usually the tactic against Liverpool, City and the other teams has been try and catch them in transition quickly. Well, I felt we were trying to get the wing backs higher up the pitch. And we did. We created a few things early on, but then you figured it out and it was quite easy to then play through us the other way. And I don't think we can kind of adjust it once we're in that kind of mode. And I think he's already come a bit unstuck with it. And he's now going to have to go for it. I think if I'm Ten Hag now, you've got to go. There's no sort of half measures, high risk, high reward. I think he's got to go because it could get nasty. If they lose, and I'm sure Martin's hoping this in the next game, the next fixture, obviously Southampton away, they lose that, then it really starts to get toxic.
They would have to beat Southampton, you'd say, and I see it as a bit of a free hit for Southampton because they expect to get nothing out of it, but. I would imagine that Man United would have to beat Southampton. Record's fairly decent against us, but I watched the game yesterday and I was hugely impressed with Liverpool. I've got to say, I thought it was superb. But I'm surprised at United, really. The body language of Marcus Rashford, such a wonderful player. He was electric 2 seasons ago, and he's just gone back to what we saw a couple of years, Sam. And it's so, as an Englishman, it's so disheartening to see because we all know he's such a good player, but he just doesn't look happy.
His confidence looks There was one point, and I think they've shown it in a few clips today. There was one point he got the ball in an opportunity to go one-on-one with a fullback, and that's like that's what you expect of Rashford in that excitement, that address, and he turned back so quickly, just didn't want to take it on, didn't fancy himself. And then you compare that with probably the 10-minute cameo from Ahmad at the end. Everything was positive, everything was driving in the box. That was the Rashford that gets people off their feet, that makes things happen. I think you're right. It's not right. It's not been right for season and a half, because the season before that, he had a good season. And it's always been a consistency issue with Rashford, for sure. But as you say, it's just sad to see because he just looks miserable, absolutely miserable.
But he's being played again and again and again. And there's no respite. I mean, there's no, like with Trent, when he had a dodgy season 2 years ago, I think, Klopp took him out and didn't play him for a period of time and give him a couple of games where he didn't play. But Ten Hag, I'm not sure if he's got pictures of him with his wife or something, or if he knows some sort of hidden dark secret about. But Rashford's in every single game with sort of no rest. I mean, did you think maybe if he actually picked informed players and would make a difference?
I think it's always hard to say this early in the season because fitness is a massive thing of it. We had a lot of players that came back late, and you don't know that was Garnacho's first start as well. Garnacho didn't play any pre-season. He's come on, done a few sub appearances because he was Copa America all the way through. Rashford didn't go to the Euros, so he's kind of had that full pre-season. Your other option has been Ahmad, who has started the first 2 games instead of Garnacho. So you're thinking, okay, now Garnacho's fit. Maybe the Southampton game, you see Garnacho and Ahmad possibly. We still ain't going to see Anthony. I'm pretty sure about that.
I hope not. I do. I want to see Anthony every game for United.
But I mean, there's also, we're not sure how that front line is going to line up because we've not had Højlund. We've not had the striker. So they've been playing false nines as well. So you're thinking maybe he plays Højlund and Xerxes and does something different. So as always, it seems our hands a little bit kind of forced by other things going on. So it'll be, I think once you've got that fitness and that option and Rashford keeps dropping those performances, you saw it in the Old Trafford crowd. It's very rare that they call a player out. But when Garnacho got substituted, the reaction was deafening. Ironically, then, Rashford then went on to have his best 5-10 minutes of the game because he put that wonderful cross in for Xerxes, brilliant crossfield ball for Ahmad, and then you're thinking, oh, he's livened up. Maybe this is the answer. You need to crucify him from minute 1 and he'll turn up. But that's not.
I mean, one question for me before we bring up. So look, we got a lot of comments in you that I'll bring up in a moment. But for me, why wouldn't they went for Xerxes? Why didn't they go for Ivan Toney? Because he was there for good value money, and I think he's a sort of player that would fit in for the sort of game that you want to play.
I think they're backing that they feel that Højlund is going to be their striker, and they don't want that too. They want Xerxes that's something different. I think everyone's looking at Toney for the fee that he went for. Well, actually, That's not bad. That's doable. That may have been an option, but I don't know. They don't fancy it. There's been players that have gone. You're thinking they'd be nice. I think we all wanted Ivan Toney. I think we could all see the benefits of an Ivan Toney.
I wanted him at Liverpool at the time, but he's just been very silly Ivan. When we don't like silly Billies, do we, Sam?
Don't like silly Billies.
Don't do silly. But Graham was saying, Sam, he thinks he might need a couch to lie on. After all of that, he thinks
sitting that way. Yeah,
thinks United should come out to the hokey cokey. Simon, of course, Simon's a big Man United fan. Obviously, he loves Man United, and he's always got something positive to say. Only decent teams score 3 against United, I'm sure. Sam really appreciates that one. Onana needs to learn basic position.
I want to
retort, Sam.
Hang on, I'm having some internet issues, so as soon as it comes back, I will retort, hopefully, when it comes back. Yeah, I did. I mean, I said to Simon at the start of the season, we're dropping last season. He agreed with it, and then every week since he's gone through. So I'm having my say, because Coventry have not started particularly well so far this season. There was a terrible result. They're supposed to be going up in Simon's eyes. And secondly, I would concentrate more on penalties, Simon, because there's 2 at Wembley that have cost you in the last 2 years. You bottled the semi-final. Let's be honest. You bottled it. The decision was right, and you bottled it. You had half an hour in extra time, bottled it. You had penalties, bottled it. Playoff finals, bottled it. I'd focus internally, If I thought we were dropping it, but you're acting like a knob, so I'm calling you out.
I love you, Sam. Graham said, now that needs to learn basic goalkeeping positions. I mean, that he's done some weird things positioning-wise this season. And then just in general, he seems to have. Is this consistently, or is this just standing out more because it's starting to cost more at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's both. The thing that frustrates me most with him is that everything with Onana was about his distribution. It's been awful. It's not been good. He was punting stuff out of play. It was, that was prime De Gea when we were watching that. Yeah, his positioning seems odd. I think there was, thank you, Shah. I think there was times last season where he was getting some unfair sticks. I think he improved. But to be fair, this season, it hasn't been. I haven't seen him. I think he made some good saves against Fulham. But yeah, positioning, there is questions. I think a lot of people have questions over Onana. It's not helped now because David De Gea is back playing football. So everybody now clips a De Gea save. But I mean, let's be honest, De Gea was making mistakes in that last season. Yeah. So I think the timing
I think what didn't help is he didn't help himself in that game against Man City where he did that stupid, why do you shoot over here, Haaland? Because you're inviting eyeballs then when you do ridiculous things like that.
I'll be honest, I didn't mind the shootout a little bit because he'd actually done that previously. He did that the previous penalty, he mucked around and he put Bernardo Silva off and saved it. And it was the Community Shield, I get it. If it's the Champions League final and he does that, then might have a slightly different view. But the problem is another one. They've spent a lot of money, got to back him, spent a lot of money. Now, this is where other teams, and even look at what Arsenal have done. They went, Ramsdale's our guy, spent some money on a goalkeeper, 12 months, got close to the title, and they went, actually, this isn't what we need. So we're going to bring in another goalkeeper and do it. I don't think United will do that. I think they're in this mode where we bought this guy, a lot of money, he's the guy. But he's under pressure too. I think everyone's under pressure. Everyone's under pressure that's been there beyond the summer. Second season is always the case. So first season, you give signings a bit of a leeway, but second season, you have to perform or not.
We shall see. Who else have we got? We got Dreety. Dreety's in good evening, Dreety. Hope you were doing well. That was where she's welcoming all of us, not just Chris. She did say hello to everybody. So I think Anthony's as useful as a chocolate teapot. And we've also got Spenny fan Chris is telling us a Salford City 1. MK franchise 0. Cap Alid is with us. He's watching the game. Salford against franchise. Hope you're doing well, Alid. What else have we got going on in here? There's lots of chat. I'm just catching up on. Heather thinks Rashford needs to go to Newcastle because Eddie was very good at putting his arm around players and helping their mental health. And I just think she likes Eddie Howe. I
think he does need to move. I mean, I think that the summer there was the question when it does, as Martin said, in terms of for the player himself, for any kind of future, how old Rashford is now, but I wouldn't be surprised. A European move, do you know what I mean? Somewhere that's a little bit less, takes the pressure off, find your form again. I think in the Premier League, you might still get that. Everyone will be on him completely, whoever he moves
It's unforgiving, isn't it?
There's no chance if he feels he needs to. And I could see Rashford going abroad somewhere like Italy or something, play Juventus for a season or two or whatever. And then,
if I was a professional footballer, I would so be going abroad. I'd be out in Spain for a couple of years because it's not like you're hard up for cash. And let's be fair, where's the weather better? Where's the shopping better? Where's the quality of life is better? Where is just everything is better outside? I'd be gone with all of that, dollar. I think they're crazy.
They scare me though. Spanish teams scare me. Did you ever play five-a-side and a load of Spaniards turned up? You're like, oh, good God, this is a nightmare. This is a long evening.
I'd embrace it though. I'd take one for the team because of the weather. But Heather Stevie White, why didn't they side Ivan Toney? Because Ivan Toney's a knob apparently, and nobody wants one. Heather knows this personally. We've also got Russ's joints. Good evening, Ross. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us, Russ. Ross, good Lord, I'm getting my friends Ross moment then. And incidentally, everybody said earlier, don't be mean to Charlotte. And I said, don't worry, I'll just give it to her because she bullies me. There we are, straight in. It's a stupid wisdom tooth. Josh wouldn't know because he's not wise like the rest of us. I told you, she's just a bully. Don't let all that positivity and that lovely smile and bubbly personality and wonderfulness fool you. She bullies me and it hurts. Well, where else have we got? Look at Gray agrees. Lots of shots being fired. It's like the Wild West in here this evening. Gray saying, despite everything, Sam, at least you don't support Everton. Sorry, Rebecca, if you're watching this. This is true. It's true. It could be worse. It could be worse. But we'll move on to a bit more positive within the game. I mean, Martin, you've commented a little bit on the United performance. Joe, why don't we give Liverpool some love? Because they did play awfully well. And I like the fact Arnie Slot after the game spoke about how he picked out the tactics and how he was going to counteract what United were doing. So how did you think Liverpool performed?
I thought they were superb. I thought they were brilliant from the get-go. I thought they had to weather a bit of a storm early on in the game. I thought United started the game really well, actually. The game was like 100 miles an hour, wasn't it? It was just ping, ping, ping. It was really hard to keep up. I thought there's going to be goals in this. But Liverpool weathered the storm really well. I think Virgil van Dijk he's an immense defender, isn't he? He's just brilliant. But Salah's a different level, and he was really the difference between the sides yesterday. His 1 and 2 touch, his movement off the ball at times is brilliant to watch. But he looks really happy at the football he's playing. They're saying that in the commentary afterwards, how happy he looked, and he is the massive difference at the moment. He was brilliant in the opening day at Portman Road against Ipswich, and I thought he was electric yesterday at times. I thought some of the movement in midfield, the 1 and 2 touch football, they play between the lines so quickly and so fast. The little bit of press on Man United, picked it, boom, 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 2-3 touches, and they score. And it's brilliant to watch. But you've got to give massive credit to Slot to go in there. He's kind of just picked up where Klopp left off, hasn't he? Really, it was. It wasn't a club that was in a mess. It wasn't a club that needed an overhaul. He just hasn't tried to reinvent the wheel. And that's quite refreshing because you get a lot of these managers come in. Yeah. They want to change everything, don't they? He hasn't. He's just kind of like, he's got his tweaks. They've got a bit of identity. I think Jamie Carragher spoke about it a lot at the end of the game yesterday about you can see what he's trying to do. They've got a plan of how they're going to move forward. And do you know what? I think they're in for a really good season. 3 games, 3 wins. They're flying.
No goals conceded.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Which, Sam can attest on. I mean, my story of my season last year was like, I just ignoring the first 50 minutes because we're going to go behind and then we're not going to come to life until the 60th minute. But I think where he sort of dropped that high line just a little bit and just slowed the general pace of the game down. I think when we get the ball in transition, it's still very quick. But he's just slowed down to give people a little bit more control. I mean, there's a lot of love for Ryan Gravenberch as well, who's acting as our 6. Did you catch his performance? And how do you think he's done?
Yeah, from what I've seen of him, he looks like a really good player. He had a few moments early on in the game. I thought, it'd be because I've not seen him play till yesterday. It was the first time I'd seen him play, but I was really impressed with him. I thought he played really, really well and complements McAllister as well. I like McAllister as a player. I think he's a really, really top player, isn't he? There's so much to enjoy about watching him yesterday. I think Diaz, I enjoy watching him. Do you know what? He probably, when you look at the ratings afterwards, I've just looked at Flash Score and he was they give him the highest rating for a Liverpool player yesterday. He was very good. But I think they're going to take some stopping, actually, Liverpool. I think a lot of people, a lot of the shows I've been on, they're, oh, yeah, it's going to be a transition year. I don't really see him competing with City this year. If we get the top four, that'd be magnificent. But I think they're from what I've seen so far, and momentum's a big thing in football, isn't it? Once you get a bit of momentum going, I think they're challenged. Absolutely, I do.
I predicted them in second because, as you said, the team wasn't broken. We needed tweaking, and he's come in sensibly enough and tweaked. He said a little tweak. I don't know why I did that. That's not very appropriate. But Charlotte in the chat, she's saying she heard the comment about me not brushing my teeth. Apparently, I didn't comment about you not brushing your teeth. I insinuated that people should brush their teeth. I'm only joking. It's out of love, Sean, jealousy, because I'm just not you. I have to live my life as me. And having that comparison is just hard. It's hard. I agree with saying Charlotte, he is everything. She said her teeth might be sore, but her ears work great because she's AI. If you did check that out, somebody accused Charlotte of not being real, of being an AI figure, which is bizarre because she podcasts fabulously every week. She's award-winning podcasts. So what are people doing? But I know that was very difficult for Sam. That's a difficult word. And do you know what's difficult is the biggest losses United have is normally against Liverpool. So I feel like a bit of a shit having to sort of get into the conversation, but it's what people want to speak. Because if you look at it this way, Sam, it's because you're still one of the bigger teams, still one of the big boys that people want to talk about. Take it out.
Hated, adored, never ignored. That's the saying.
Graham was saying, who had 21 minutes 4 seconds is the time Josh said or did something inappropriate. If you did, you're the pool winner this evening. Congratulations, and you win a hug. I mean, what game would you want to talk about, Sam, to brighten you up a little bit? I mean, I was hoping Chelsea were going to get spanked. I mean, the game that made me chuckle was the Arsenal Brighton. But I'll let you pick. Which game would you want to look at to brighten up your evening just a little bit now?
Yeah, shall we do Arsenal versus Brighton?
Yeah, it's always good for a giggle watching Arteta lose his head because he doesn't understand the rules of football and how it works. So, I mean, Arsenal won, Brighton won. I'll start with you first, Martin, because I'll let Sam believe himself a little bit and get himself all G'd up. Arsenal won, Brighton won. How did that game make you feel?
Yeah, no, it was an interesting one. I've been impressed with Brighton, I've got to say. They've had a really good start to the season. Obviously, they were brilliant against Man United a week ago, and they started on fire at Goodison as well. So a manager that's gone in there and just picked up where the last one left off. Great transition there. They'll be a top side. No one's going to want to go and play at the Amex. But yeah, I think Arsenal will be a little bit disappointed with that one, to be fair. I've not seen loads of it. I've only seen highlights of it, seen the sending off of Declan Rice. And I guess for if you're a Liverpool fan or a City fan, you'd be happy to see him drop a couple of points, that's for sure.
Well, I was elated. I mean, and it's never as good as an Arteta breakdown. Over the justified second yellow card. I'm not totally sure why you can get sort of too upset over that. I mean, Sam, the irony as well, as Greg was saying, he doesn't understand all of his technical area because he's never in it. I mean, for a man that does breach rules consistently and gets away with it, but then gets really upset when they get pulled up on something. Did you enjoy seeing Arsenal go a man down and get all upset?
I thought you referred to me as the rule breaker then. I was like, what have I done? What am I up to? Oh, kicking off. Yeah, I mean, they were in control. They were in control of the game as well as Brighton sort of did play. It was kind of one of those where you felt Arsenal might sort of go on and pick them off towards the end of the game. But yeah, it's one of those bizarre instances because when you watch it in real time, you're like, what the hell's happened there? Veltman's just booted him up in the air, for me, it's ascending. It's a second yellow. It's a bookable offence. It's what it is. The first one is a clear yellow card, and then the second one, he's kicked the ball. And he knows what he's doing. We'll know what he's doing. I could understand a bit, and it again comes to this position of consistency because of the frustration with the João Pedro one. I can get that if it's consistency within a game. If it's consistency where you're pulling up results from 1974 and comparing the two, that's when it gets a bit annoying. But within the same game, I can understand it. But also as well, the thing that kind of didn't get looked at too much because it was, I think it was Brighton or whatever. There is no way in hell that Veltman was looking to play that ball down the line without taking Rice with him. Absolutely no way. And when you watch his interview afterwards, and he played the whole, I'll have to look at it back because maybe he touched it. Of course he touched it, because otherwise he would have booted the ball, you numpty. You knew exactly what he was doing. But yeah, I think it's a silly one. It was all kind of very quick moment. It wasn't like one of those real obvious, like he's booted it away. But it has to be what it is.
It's rules, isn't it? The rules are the rules. And the thing is, I get you want to ask for consistency, but I think the easiest way not to get in trouble is to not break the rules. Why take that chance and put yourself out there? I mean, like you said, I think the fact that he did hoof him up in the air as well, that's if you're gonna do it, that's the way to do it. I'm sort of all behind.
It's almost
that.
like someone gave him a free pass, you know what I mean? It's a bit like in cricket where you get that, you can just a free hit. It was kind of like that. They went, go on then, Joel, have a go.
It was a magic, but I mean, as Martin said, that Arsenal side. Well, Kai Havertz, that was a goal, wasn't it? I'm sure if you saw the highlights, I'm sure you caught that one. He was there was no stopping that, was it?
No, it's a great hit. He on his day though, he can be such a good player. And I think as an outsider looking in, you hope to see him have a good season. But yeah, an absolute superb goal, tremendous.
It was, and I was elated. Joe Pedro's in my fantasy Premier League
mine
team.
too. Is it mine as well?
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm actually not bottom of the podcast league at the moment, which is just wonderful. If you would check this out last year, I think, did I finish rock bottom last season, Sam? I was there or thereabouts.
It was rock bottom or close to the crack, put it that way. It was one of the two.
I was definitely there or thereabouts. In my defense, because I forgot to change my team after about game week 8 and it just carried on. But I'm there at the moment. Haaland, Salah, Joe Pedro, Cole Palmer. I tell you, got it all at the moment. Graham agrees, gets booted up in the air, gets up and gets sent off. It's hilarious. And what I always like is with things like that is they roll around in pain, like someone's just cut his leg off. He actually has no leg. He's there being amputated, rolling on the floor. And the ref comes over and goes, "You're in trouble." And he can stand up, he can protest, he can walk. It's like he's healed. It's a miracle. I just get a grip of yourselves, and Arteta just winds me up. So that was a joy to behold. But I mean, Sam Martin touched on Brighton's performance. I mean, they were an extra man, but they did dominate in basically every single positive stat of the game at the moment, and they started quite brightly. What have you thought of Brighton so far?
Yeah, they've been good. I was quite surprised. We did the predictions that some people had them down so low. I think I had them at 12th or 11th, which even I thought for that there's the potential they could, because they've no Europe affected them last year. They kind of had a really good performance and a poor performance last season. They were a bit like that. They'd kind of turn it on, but yeah, they've looked really bright, really exciting. The Brighton that we kind of all want to see, and I think neutrals tend to enjoy Brighton and the way they play. They've integrated some fantastic. Danny Welbeck's had a fantastic career there as well. He had so much to that team. He's been brilliant. Matoma looks like he's a threat again. And this, I can't get this. How old this manager is at 31 years old.
I was going to say he could almost be my child.
Yeah, and he's walking around the Emirates going, "Yeah, felt we should have won that." And you're like, "Fair play, fair play." I'm liking that. I've been really impressed with him. This, as I said, I didn't get to watch the Brighton United game in full, apart from some of the highlights. But they always worry me at Brighton because of how quick they can play and transition and cause a threat. And got some really good players, a really good squad. Without Europe this season, I think they could. Yeah, they're going to surprise a few people, I think, and I really have, because I saw some people had them down to get relegated. Bizarrely, somehow in their predictions, I've seen one or two which I could never see, but yeah, they've started really, really well, and they played, not a Manchester United that's Manchester United of the past, but United and Arsenal in their first 2 games, and they're still in the top 4, so pretty good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Brighton, and trust the kids, trust the kids, even when they're managing you. Because he is doing bits, and it is great to see. I've wanted to delay getting into this one, but you're here. It's got to be done. And I've got some interesting questions I'd like to pose to you on this one, Martin. But Brentford 3, Southampton 1. Martin, how did that game make you feel?
Yeah, pretty awful, to be fair. It's been a tough start to the season. Really, really tough. Obviously, the transfer window only closed on Friday night. It's never ideal, is it? Playing your first couple of games with the window still been open. You're still trying to do business. You potentially got bodies going out the door as well. They've done really well to keep hold of Cole Walker-Peters, Southampton. I think we've had a really good window. I think the bodies we've brought in this window have been really, really good. Aaron Ramsdale coming in from Arsenal was just a tremendous bit of business. Yeah. Brilliant. We needed a goalkeeper for such a long time. But he's been very loyal, Russell, with the players that have got us promoted, got us from the Championship to the Premier League, and he's wanted to give them an opportunity. Well, he's given them an opportunity, and there's 3 or 4 that are going to struggle at this level. And it's ruthless, the Premier League, isn't it? We know how ruthless it is. We had we got let off quite lightly at Newcastle. We went to Newcastle, started the first 30 minutes were outstanding, dominated the game. They went down to 10. We walked out there narrowly beaten, a mistake from the goalkeeper. We played Forest at home, didn't turn up. They pressed us, they put us under pressure. A mistake again leads to their goal. 2 mistakes in 2 games. Then we go to the Brentford game. You need to be ironing this out right now, and we didn't. And again, it's 2 errors from playing out from the back have cost us the game. 2-0 down. It's game over. They scored a third from a throw in, and we just weren't good enough. I thought actually our performance wasn't horrific. I think the one thing we're really struggling with is confidence and being able to play how the manager wants to play at this level. And he's going to be questioned, and it worries me now because the fans are on his back. All the mainstream media saying you can't play this way, going to have to change tactic. My concern is now that it's really going to double down, and it's going to get messy if we're not careful. I think the next block of 4 games are huge because we have to play Man United, Sam's boys, come to St Mary's after this international break. We then take on Ipswich at home the week after. I think the Man United game is almost a free hit. I would expect to get nothing out of it at home against Man United. But the Ipswich game comes massive. He will have to win it, I would think. It's a 6-pointer already. And in this early in the season, then it's Bournemouth and Arsenal are both away. So I see the next 4 after this international break has been absolutely huge. It will be unbearable if they go and lose the next 2. I would say the fans are restless already. I think you've got to give him time. We've made good signings in Leslie Kachukwu coming in on loan from Chelsea. Ramsdale I spoke about. Cameron Archer's coming to play up front. They've got some really good flair players, but he's going to have to make personnel changes now and get it right really quickly, because if he doesn't get it right, we're going to end up in a real messy situation. We will get relegated if we continue to play like we've played in the opening 3 games.
Yeah, because I mean, my question to you is going to be, and you sort of highlighted it already. Every team that gets promoted, that attempts to play out from the back, have nice sort of like passing football. When you come up from the Championship, the Premier League, it's a big jump, and the teams aren't good enough to do it. Nobody succeeds doing that, and every single season for the last couple of years has been examples of teams trying to do that, and it never ever works. And I've never understood why managers insist on doing it. I mean, as a Southampton fan, would you be happy for him to compromise a playing style that people sort of see as an identity to try and actually perform well into the league? And do you understand the logic of why they've tried to play a style that is always going to be suicide in the Premier League?
But he's going to have to compromise, because if he doesn't compromise, we're going to get relegated. It's as simple. It's that simple. I'm not convinced. Yes, he's got some really good players in the squad, but he's going to have to try and get the best out of the bodies that he's got. I feel we're a little bit toothless in attack as well, which is a concern. I think in both boxes we're going to struggle. I think we're going to struggle in our own box. I think we're going to struggle top end as well, because I don't see us scoring enough goals. Adam Armstrong was outstanding last season in the Championship. He scored 24 goals. The prior 2 in the Premier League, he only got the 4 in 2 seasons. Not enough. He's struggling a little bit already at this level. We've got to find goals, and find goals quickly, because we are the team that will give teams opportunities to score goals. We just do. We conceded a huge amount of goals last season. I think it was 64, something like that. It was huge. So we're going to have to be a lot better. He's going to have to compromise now. He has no choice, because if he doesn't, the fans will be relentless, and I think the media are relentless at this level. You're under it's all well and good playing pretty football, but you got to do it in the right areas, and you have to do it with pace, and you have to do it with power, and you have to get it forward quicker. What I don't understand is in the playoff campaign against West Bromwich Albion, the 2 legs and the Leeds game, he totally compromised because we were leaking goals like Billio. We got thumped at the KP against Leicester. We were shipping goals left, right, and centre. We went into that, and he made it quite hard to beat. Went 5 at the back, no playing around the back, get it forward quicker, try and transition through midfield, get downs on the half turn, and we looked so much of a better side. And we did the same against Leeds. It's just passing it around the back against Leeds, and we go to the Premier League and think it's okay to do it. It's not good. You're right, Josh. It won't work, and you will have to compromise without any question.
Oh, and in the chat, I mean, Heather's trying to cite Bournemouth, Forest, and Fulham as sort of saying it, but I mean, I would argue that they didn't do that easily. There were some messy, scary seasons. Heather is a Bournemouth fan, so I'm sure she doesn't mean to be offensive.
We play them in a couple of weeks, actually. Bournemouth.
Yeah, but she says that she thinks you're going to be going straight down in her opinion. Do you think with your fans' eyes, and then also sort of with your football analysis hat on, do you think Southampton can stay up? Do you think there's enough there, or do you think it is going to be just whether you get the lucky results?
I think we can stay up. Yeah, definitely think we can stay up if we can get the right things right. I think we've got really good players. We've got an England goalkeeper in goal in Ramsdale, an England right back in Kyle Walker-Peters, a really good Japanese international that can play right back, and Kyle Walker-Peters is playing left back. Harwood Bellis is an England under-21 captain. Flynn Downs has played at the Premier League, no problems at all. I like Leslie Ugachukwu. He was brilliant at Chelsea, another really good player. Cameron Archer, England under-21 international. Ryan Fraser's come in. Look, they've got good players all over the park. You just got to get the best out of them and eradicate stupid errors from playing out from the back really quickly. And if they can do that and transition the ball back to front quicker and have a bit more about us around the 18-yard box, the opposition's 18-yard box, we'll give ourselves a chance. And one thing I would say, the final bit on Southampton, I would say probably would be look out for a young lad called Tyler Dibbling. He's a young academy graduate. He is the next big thing. Trust me, he's that good. He's coming on and he's lighting games up. He's like a Jack Grealish type player. He runs with his socks around his ankles, doesn't really wear any shin pads. He's lightning quick. He goes past people. He's fearless. He's got everything about him to do really well. He will score a Premier League goal in the next month. I guarantee it. He's that good. He's 18 years old. He is absolutely magnificent.
As long as you don't send him to Chelsea, you'll have a future then, do you think?
Funny enough, he's been to Chelsea. He's been to Chelsea and come back. It was somewhere along the line, I think, during his academy days. He went to Chelsea for a period of time. He hated it, got homesick, and he come back to our academy. And he's a young lad, but he's had a little trip to London already.
I don't blame him wanting to leave Chelsea. I wouldn't even want to go there apart from all the dollar bills. But Graham said you've also got Charlton legend Joe Aribo as well.
Yeah, he's Joe Aribo. I like Joe Aribo. He did okay the last bit of last season, but he's one player at the moment that's going to need to really step up at this level. Doesn't like being pressed. Dithers on the ball a little bit. It's going to have to be a lot better in the coming weeks. I think he could be one of the players that may be sacrificed for someone else against Man United. I think against Man United, it's a big game at home for Southampton, that one. A game that you don't want to go getting battered in, that's for sure. United are going to have a point to prove because they're going to want to bounce back from that defeat yesterday. Southampton return home, a dreadful performance against Nottingham Forest at home. It was really, really poor. The fans want something to cheer about. And we need to stop our mini rot already, a performance, some goals, and try and get something out of it. I think it'd be really, really tough, though. The Premier League is, the gaps between the divisions it's scary. Silly, it really is. It really is.
Well, if you've got a spare ticket, I'm sure Sam would love to go with you. And you can hide there.
I've been a few times, actually, and I might be going to a women's game at St Mary's in a couple of weeks, actually. So, yeah, I will be there. I'll leave
It's
my
a great
mark there
concept,
somewhere.
Yeah, hide
Definitely.
something under a seat. I mean, Heather said all you're going to do is find 3 teams worse than
Very
you can say. I
true.
think Forest and Brentford.
Bournemouth definitely won't be one of those. That's for sure. They're a top side, top side.
They are playing well. That'll be the next game. We'll come on to it in just a moment. But I had to say, Forest and Brentford could be potentially sucked into it. I mean, Brentford's performance. Do you think it was flattered by Southampton's, or do you think they're playing well at the moment? Because
A little bit of both,
like
I think.
No.
I think Southampton's passing out from the back suits Brentford perfectly. You know, they are a very good high pressing team. They do it very well, and they capitalise on mistakes very, very well. They've done it over their past few seasons in the Premier League. I would say we took a batter in there 4-0, I remember. And it was exactly that, stupid balls out from the back. But they punish you. Very good. And I think everyone's focus has been on Ivan Toney, who, let's be honest, hasn't really been in that team since January. Weren't really, I know he came back for that last portion. He did come here and there. And Bremo and Visser are very good. And I always think it's your attackers that get you out of the relegation battle. And I think they'll be down there, but I think they've got enough if they can keep those fit. And Bremo is a very good player, I think. And I think he'll be, when you look at the teams around that, have they got an Mbeumo? Possibly not. And I think their seasons. I think they've done a decent job. And say on the Southampton side of things, and they've I think as Martin said, it's who's going to score your goals. It's where are those coming from. So I think shot wise, you're like 7th in the table so far for numbers of shots. Possession wise is crazy because Bednarak's had second most touches than anybody else in the Premier League. So. They're getting on the ball, and it's just who's going to put it in when they get there, and that's where you think maybe it's going to be a challenge. But I would certainly say that that Brentford has started well. Home form has always been key for Brentford, and it will be again. So, but obviously bigger tests to come. I can't remember who they beat in the first game. I know they lost to Liverpool, didn't they? But was it first day of the season they played?
They beat Palace opening day, yeah.
And they've got a couple of their next 2 games are City and Spurs away, so it could get a bit. But if they focus on their home games and picking those points up, that I think will be enough for Brentford.
Before we move on, quick question for you, Martin, in the chat from the Sky Blue Hub. I hope you're doing well this evening. Is Dibblin going to start regularly for Saints, do you think?
I think he has to. I think he has to. He's been that good. He was our best player in pre-season. He really set pre-season alight and was outstanding. Russell said he was very unlucky not to start the opening games for us, but I believe he'll start against Man United. I think he'll get his full debut, and he absolutely deserves it. And he's an unknown quantity. A lot of these sides face him, and it's hard to plan to play against a player that nobody knows anything about. But yeah, absolutely. I think he's on the verge of breaking through now.
And you mentioned Brentford beating Palace. So Graham, our resident Charlton fan, Palace, and Chelsea won, Palace won. What a poff game that was! Dreadful. We time is escaping a little bit, but Sam, I know that you watched this game back. Everton 2, Bournemouth 3. Oh my Oakville fruit days! How did that game make you feel?
Wow, I mean, it's just football turnaround. Football turnaround in a nutshell. Was it the latest ever comeback from 2 goals down? For the majority of the game, Everton were quite good. They've struggled going forward in the first 2 games. They'd looked poor. They were creating chances. They were opening Bournemouth up. They scored 2 good goals. Suddenly it looked like, I did feel a bit though, because Rebecca was in our group chat and was happy and she's going, I can't believe what's happening. And there was just something inside me just went, don't go early, Rebecca, please don't go early. And then as soon as the first went in, you thought, oh no, oh no. Even not watching the game, I just got that feeling of, this, and then watching it back in the highlights, it was just, I think, was I referred it to defensive narcolepsy, I think was the term I used in the group chat.
That's the one I liked.
As they just completely fell apart defensively. Everyone stopped picking runners up, crosses. I mean, Bournemouth, to be fair and credit to them, didn't give it in. There was still that fight. I think there was a couple of moments Semenyo started kicking lumps out of people and it just got everybody going. And as soon as they got that first, which was a really good whipped cross in, then Everton just stopped picking men up. They seem to have just lost the capability of defending crosses so far this season as well. I know they're missing Branthwaite. There's stuff still to come. But as Heather said, 1 goal and it just crumbled completely to pieces. and Bournemouth turned it round. I mean, Semenyo, I think, has been really good for Bournemouth so far this season as well. I think he's been one that's really shone, probably a bit of an unknown quantity for a lot, but no one's had more shots than him I saw this season. He's been on it, considering that for Everton, the Everton game, didn't really do a lot for 80 minutes until that kind of last 10. But Everton will just, that is probably
name
more
to sing. It's a good name to sing, Semenyo.
Good name, Semenyo.
I made Charlotte do it last week. It was beautiful. Semenyo.
I could never beat Charlotte's wonderful tone, so I won't even try. And Everton, this is the sort of result. It's probably more worrying for them than the 4-0 against Tottenham in some kind of ways, because those games can happen, stuff doesn't go right, but to throw it all away, particularly at home as well, is just worrying. It's just worrying. I worry for Dyche. I think it's starting to get nasty. They can focus on that early part of the performance, but just a loss like that is just crazy.
I mean, Graham's saying 87 minutes and 2-0 up, and you end up losing. Sean Dyche's seat just got a little hotter, and he says maybe Delia should use her Norwich share money to buy Everton because she loves a good crumble. Oh, Nick saying Everton foes choked while they were winning. Their tired legs still on. Bournemouth with the wise changes. Everton did not. Apparently, it's only the second time Bournemouth ever won at Goodison, and I quite enjoy watching Bournemouth play. I mean, it's a Southampton fan, Martin. Do you enjoy watching Bournemouth play?
No, I do. The people talk about a rivalry between the two clubs. I don't really see it as a massive rivalry. I've got to be honest. The South Coast rivalries between Southampton and Portsmouth, and to be fair, the Cherries, they've done really, really well. I like them a lot. I think the manager's superb. The style of football he's got on playing is really good. I watched them against Newcastle last week, actually, on TV. And I thought they were really unlucky to walk out of that without winning the game. They deserved to win the game. I thought the officiating in that was awful. But the comeback the weekend was brilliant. And it is testament to the manager and the way the manager's this never say die attitude that they have. And the lad Sinisteras that come off the bench was outstanding in the highlights that I saw. Cliver, I like the look of. They say he didn't play that well the weekend, but from the highlights that I saw, he looked really, really good. Top player. But they have loads of energy. They get men from midfield all the time. They look to get crosses in the box, and they're everything good about a good mid-table. They'll be mid-table comfortably this year. But I'd massively fear for Everton right now. I think they're in a really difficult spot, really struggling for form. 3 defeats. Bottom of the table, leak the most amount of goals out of anyone right now. They're going to need Calvert-Lewin to get. I think Heather's mentioned Calvert-Lewin. They took him off at the weekend. Bizarre. He's your main threat, isn't he? He's your main man. Is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But yeah, it's a tough time for Sean Dyche. That's for sure. They're going to need to turn that around really, really quickly. They've got a cup game actually after game week 4. They play Southampton in the League Cup. At Goodison Park, which I think would be quite an interesting game for both managers.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, obviously, as a Liverpool fan, you'd think that I'd like to see Everton go down, but I think I feel sorry for them now. I mean, Treaty says the same thing up here. She said she feels bad for Everton, and the thing, I don't mind if it's all on the pitch. But there's so much stuff going on in the background at Everton. It must be causing so much disruption because they're having to get players out and put players in the shop window. They're not really able to do anything in regards to bringing in players that they need, and the players that they have brought in for some reason, Dyche hasn't been enamored with, or he hasn't decided to play them. Maybe to let them, I don't know, bed in, have a bit of an after preseason. And I worry the same way that most people do, in that they could go down. I mean, Nick's saying Dyche is likely safe because of the state of the club. I mean, I would say they can't afford to pay him off to sack him. I can't see that unless they think, stuff it, we're going down. We can take the top points deduction. Let's sack him and really shove ourselves into administration and start the next season this beautiful new stadium in the Championship, which, I mean, as you'll know, Martin, it's a pig of a league to try and get out of. That is wildly competitive. And it's not like they're going to go down and be a really rich Premier League club in the Championship. They'll really struggle. And what makes me, I just love Sean Dyche. I love him. I'd love to have a hug off Sean Dyche. I bet that'd feel really solid and safe, like being embraced by a wardrobe, nice and secure, with husky tones in my ears. I'd thoroughly enjoy that. But I fear it's fearful times for Everton. I think they're the only other. Man City won a game of football. Nobody cares. Nobody likes you, Man City, and if you had fans, you'd appreciate that as well. Graham saying hugging Sean Dyche be like hugging sandpaper. I wouldn't. Oh, do you know what? I bet it feels solid. You know, I tried to think of the right analogy for it. Would it just feel like strong and this big, solid, warm embrace? God, I love a good hug. I'm so lonely. I think because time's escaping us a little bit, so we'll bring up. Do you know what, Sam? I actually pretty confident. Look at that. I prepared the slides ready, so I didn't have to vamp. Didn't have to vamp to try and bring them up. Some of the games we didn't cover was Crystal Palace won, Chelsea won. I mean, for me, that was a very Crystal Palace performance, not fabulous. One moment of brilliance from a brilliant player for them, and Chelsea's just a mess, really. God knows what's going on there. Anybody have any input, or shall we just move on to the next one?
I loved Eze's goal. I thought Eze's goal was brilliant. He took it really, really well.
Yeah, he is good. But they're starting to. It was a bit weird. I thought Glasner was moving them into something else, but the game yesterday looked very much like Crystal Palace of the Zaha years of just quite bang average team with one quality player. It's quite sad to see. Spurs beaten 2-1 by Newcastle United, upsetting a lot of Spurs fan who were calling for and already reactionary Sam.
Yeah, Spurs fans been reaction. No, I can't believe it. I think I get the frustrations because they do this a lot in away matches. They've got this consistency in away matches of actually being on top, dominating the stats. They've got the equaliser, they're on top, and somehow losing the game through they get cut open quite easily. I think concentration was something I saw on a report today. I was saying Tottenham's concentration in away games seems to dwindle defensively. They get themselves constantly into kind of mistakes and issues that they get kind of pulled up on. But it's frustrating because, I mean, I think 4 defeats in their last 6 away shots, or they've only won 2 wins in their last 12 games away from home in 2024. Potentially suggesting they don't know how to manage an away game under Ange. I can see that. But they're creating so many chances. You know, in terms of shots created, balls inside the box, Son and Porro are bombing in. But they still have that same problem of scoring goals. I mean, Newcastle's not an easy place to go to, and there's other narratives to it. But I think Tottenham, you've got to stick with it. I didn't get this narrative last season. Like, if we all thought at the start of last season that Tottenham were in a massive rebuild, they were in a mess the season before. Kane left. Kane was going. We all thought they would be mid-table enough, and they overachieved last season. Suddenly, had that really good start. And suddenly Tottenham have gone to a bit where they believe that they just belong in the top 4 again. You're in a fight for the top 4.
Isn't it?
It's expectation. You're going. The reality is the best 3 teams in this league are Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. That's not changed since last season. On top of that, you've got a Newcastle side that beat you yesterday who can challenge for the Champions League. You've got United and Chelsea who are basket cases, but on their day can put a run together and are a threat. You've got Aston Villa who finished 4th last, who are in the Champions League, who are a really quality outfit. And then you just what teams. So there's no guarantee you're going to be there. And you've got to sort your away form out and got to start to win these games and get over the line. I know Solanke's been out. They've not kind of had that kind of working yet, but it does just seem, as I said, the problem is 3 games in, you get this. Because there's this international break, everyone's like, oh, it's a disaster now. It's got 2 weeks to the next game. There's still 35 games to go. So, no one's be sacking anybody yet.
And it's just know who you are. And I'm not saying it to be a shit. I'm really not. But you've got to appreciate and accept who you are as a club. Spurs have never been a big club competing at the top all the time. That hasn't happened, certainly not in my lifetime that I can remember. They've always been like one of those, oh, look at them tryers, a little engine that could let him have a little go, bless his heart. That's the sort of team that they've not been someone really challenging and really pressing and having a good go, and somebody that could be a force. It's been so sort of floppy and up and down, and that's just who you are sometimes. And that's not always a negative. It's nice that you want to have ambition, you want to push, but sometimes you've got to enjoy the good and, you know, embrace the bad, because everybody has bad patches. And when you have a team of that level in a league with the teams that are, Sam, as you said, Sam, you got like the top three who are going to be the top three, and then you've got resurgent teams where the ownership is focused on building that team up. The ownership of Spurs isn't focused on building that team up. It's built on making this big commercial revenue inducing beast. And it is who you are. You know, if you don't like it, go support the other team in North London. They do well. Oh, you can enjoy that. They play some nice football as well. You know, I'm sure Spurs fans will appreciate that. If you don't like it,
I'm sure they'll absolutely love that advice that you've given them there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm just trying to make your lives better. You know, just trying to make your lives better, make you happier. You know, just go and embrace it. So the other game we didn't cover, as we did. We covered Arsenal and Brighton 1-1. And the next games we didn't talk about was Ipswich 1, Fulham 1. Didn't watch it. Wasn't interested in it. With anybody else interested in Ipswich?
Fulham? Good. Ipswich are really good. I've seen the highlights. I watched the 30-minute highlights on Sky. I thought they were really good. Played well. Liam Delap, he looked really powerful and strong for them. Sammy Smojic is in the side. Calvin Phillips made his first start at Portman Road. I tell you what, I think they'll stay up. Got a really, really top manager there as well. They made some really good signings. And I think for any club going down to Portman Road this year, they will give you a game, and they'll cause some big upsets along the way as well. They're definitely ones to watch, that's for sure.
Heather concurs with you. She can see Ipswich staying up as well. I mean, I'll be honest. I know a lot of people who live in Ipswich, and they've sort of said to me they're enjoying it. They're there for the ride, and they're just going to accept it. And what will be where the chips fall. They will fall as they may. But I'll keep an eye open then, Martin. On your say so, I'm going to put money on Ipswich.
David plays at left back for them. He is brilliant. He's a good player. He was so good in the Championship last season. I should have put him in my dream team, and I didn't. But I actually think he'd be a really good player this year.
Well, just so you know, I'm going to put a $5 on Ipswich staying up now, and if it doesn't come into your house, Martin.
Come and find me.
Just so you know,
we'll be heading south.
I mean, we didn't touch on Leicester 1, Aston Villa 2, but I mean, as Sam said, Aston Villa just played some great games. Just again, bullet head, and the striker that was it West Ham were after, and he went to West Ham. Duran, was that the guy's name?
John Duran, yeah.
Duran. What a goal! I think it's his second header. I don't know about you guys. I love a lovely headed goal. The cross that came in with brilliant. His leap was good. The power and the direct. I just think there's so much technique in a sexy headed goal.
It's really good, and it's. I
was about to say, Sam, I like good head, but that's why I'm going to put it up. So we'll move away from Sam and Josh's after hours.
Go on, then I'll brush past that and talk about John Duran. Yeah, I like him. I like the fact it gives Aston Villa a completely different option to Ollie Watkins as well. They can play them together later on in the game. They can do, and because Watkins has been sort of struggling to try and find his feet a little bit. You know, he's missed some chances that last season he was burying. He's on that kind of run a little bit, and it'll come. Watkins, I think, is a quality striker, and you know it will come. So you have to have those other players in the squad to do it. And two away wins for Villa, considering they had Arsenal last week, and I think they've been doing well. Having Jacob Ramsey back, I like Morgan Rogers. Is so fun to watch. Not just because he's in my dream team getting no points. So I don't want to take him out. So I just enjoy his performance, enjoy his energy. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep you there because I'm just, just as a thank you for entertaining me every week.
I got Onana in my squad. And by the way, I was talking about heads of beer. That's what I was referring to, that their head on a pint of beer before anyone thinks anything else. I judge you, shameful people. But I'm really enjoying watching Aston Villa at the moment. I think they're doing some wonderful stuff. Nottingham Forest won, Wolverhampton Wanderers won, a game I didn't even know happened and took place. Martin, did you check that one out at all?
I watched Forest last week at St Mary's, and I was impressed with them. I thought they were really good. I think there'll be a side that I think a lot of people had them down as a side that are probably going to struggle to stay in the division this year. From what I saw last week, I don't think they'll have any problem staying in the Premier League. They've done some decent business. James Ward-Prowse, an ex-Southampton player who was at West Ham. He's gone on loan there. I think it's an interesting move for him. I think I think he'd do all right there. I think it's probably a perfect move for him right now. But they play a high energy football against us. I was super impressed. I didn't see loads of this game, to be honest. But Wolves, I think, are maybe in for a tougher season than many may think as well.
Yeah, it's not looking good for a team with a lovely manager. And another guy, if you need a hug, just let me know, mate. Just drop me a line. I'll be everywhere. And Nick's saying,
do you want my Nottingham Forest stat as well? Unless Nick's just trumped me with it. No, I haven't. Just checking. Morgan Gibbs-White has been called up to the England squad. I saw this week. The first Nottingham Forest player to be called up for the England international since 1997. Apparently. Who's that man, Josh? Can you name that man?
He's the best midfielder I've seen live this season so far, by the way, Morgan Gibbs-White. He was outstanding at some areas last week. He was so good. I've never seen a number 10 touch the ball so much. Honestly, he was on the ball all the time. But he's really lucky because the two that play behind him are really good. But what a top-class player he is. No shock he got in the England squad.
I'm going for Sam. 97, you say either Stan the Man or Jason Lee.
No. Stuart Pearce. Stuart Pearce, correct, yeah. 1997.
Do you know what? He looked about 50 then as well, didn't he? Old
I think that was the end of, because Euro 96 was the whole penalty redemption, wasn't it? So it was the song.
In my defense, when you said called up, I was thinking like the first time into the squad. That's what I was thinking. I thought Stan there about 97. I'm trying to think when he came to Liverpool.
He was. I don't know. Did he make the? I don't know. Maybe he made the England squad and he was at Villa. I'm not sure. Where's Benny Moore-Chris? He's usually with us with his stats.
He knows things. But I mean, but that is the Premier League at the moment. I don't put a lot of weight in tables this early on in the table.
No, certainly don't.
No, it's
nothing.
Meaningless. And but Man City at the top because they just spoil football. Who likes them? I don't know, but they spoil football, and I predicted them, Martin, for third because I think they're going to get distracted by this trial, and that's my vibes I'm putting out into the universe. I want them to be distracted. I want Pep to start embarrassing himself.
For a Liverpool fan, you definitely want them distracted for sure.
Yeah, I genuinely think we'll be up there. There'll be us, them, and Arsenal. I'll be challenging on, but I think it's going to be so exciting from sort of 4th to 10th. It's going to be really exciting. Who's going to finish those positions, and can Chelsea breach the top 10 this year as well? That's going to be exciting to watch them battle in the middle of the table.
You look at Bournemouth in at 8th. It's nice to see them up there. Forest that they're 9th at the moment. Decent start. Both clubs have started really well. So be interested to see where everyone is come the next international break. You can have a really good look at it, and put another 4 games on the board, and it starts to take a little bit of shape, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like Brighton, Bournemouth, Forest, and Aston Villa. The fact the teams have run well, they've got good fan bases. I like the stadiums of most of them. Apart from I don't like Villa Stadium, but I like their kit. I always reminds me of Paul McGrath. Reminds me of being young. Sean's agreeing. City are so bloody boring. It's embarrassing. They are. It's predictable. It's like the runs after a curry. It's just predictable. It hurts and no one enjoys it. So I'm not going to spend too much time on any of these tables because none of them matter at the moment. La Liga. Sam, did you catch any La Liga while you were there?
I haven't seen too much. Although I must say that Mallorca got a fabulous home shirt this year. I also saw a few round. I was very, very tempted. And what I can tell you is there are Lamine Yamal shirts everywhere. That kid he's loved, and I can understand why. Barcelona 4 out of 4. I think they won 2-0. They won 7-0. Sorry, at the weekend 7-0. Absolutely battered Real Valladolid. I think it was Rafinha hat-trick. They started well. It's not a bad start, to be fair.
Is Xavi still the manager there? Or is it? It is Xavi, isn't it?
No, he went, didn't he? Didn't he go? What's going on?
I don't know. I know they were going to get rid of him. Then he was going to stay.
It's not Hansi Flick,
got
is
rid
it?
of him again. Oh, I think it is. It's
Hansi, isn't it? They've
got Handy Flick.
They've gone all Hansi. Yeah, it is. Yeah, because he was going, then he wasn't. He did the okey-dokey and turned around in the end. He didn't stay. So
that's what it's all about.
It has indeed. So that's 12 points for them. And then Real Madrid got a victory. Finally, some goals for the man for your breakfast.
Mbappe.
Bacon Mbappe is there. He's getting the bacon over in Madrid. We all know Madrid do this. They fumble about and then they'll start to come good. Bellingham's on the sidelines, I think, at the minute, but they're starting to. We're all interested to see how this Vinicius Mbappe thing works long term.
I was going to say, didn't he? Wasn't he given a penalty? Like it's like a pity goal, just like a little ruffle of his hair. God bless you.
Have a go. Have a penalty. I always hate that. I'd be like, I wouldn't want it.
Don't you patronise me, you tosser. That's what I'd be like.
To be fair, Arsenal did it to Havertz, and then he went on a run, didn't he? So maybe it does. Maybe there is something to it. Did that last season. So that's probably the main. Again, not a lot of Valencia at the bottom, isn't and is that Sevilla again? I mean, the retirement. They do this every year. Every year they twindle around, love to flirt with relegation, and then wake up after Christmas. So again, wouldn't take too much credence of the table just yet. But
dirty flirts. How are you feeling about my Girona?
My Girona. Well, they're doing all right considering they've had a bit of a. They didn't get completely decimated, but a lot of players have moved. Obviously, Savinho, we know, has gone to Manchester City. One or two have disappeared from them. They obviously have the phenomenal midfielder. Van der Beek is there now. Van der Beek is dominating that midfield. So you watch him be an absolute baller now. The more game he plays, the more add-ons we get. So keep giving Van der Beek some appearances, I think.
I mean, and Cap added, he's upset with Valencia. How have they not been relegated yet? The way that they've performed in La Liga the last couple of seasons,
they've become the Everton of La Liga, haven't they? I think that's.
They're like the turd that won't flesh at the moment.
They find a way. I do like Valencia. It's hard not to.
I know. I've always liked that. I don't like.
Is
it Peter Ling's their owner, isn't he?
Possibly, yeah.
That puts me off a little bit because of his association with Gary Neville, who I think's a giant willy. But I got a soft spot, and I like their kit. They've always got a nice kit, Valencia.
They do always have a nice kit, Valencia.
Do you like any European football? And certainly, Mark, because you can jump in whenever you want. Because we just talk.
Yeah, I do. No, I like La Liga. I went out and watched Valencia play Real Madrid a few years ago, and at the Mestalla. What a stadium that is, by the way. So old and decrepit, but I tell you, the atmosphere is probably one of the best atmospheres at a football game I've ever been to. Actually, it was absolutely magnificent. Really, really good. But I haven't watched as much as I like to watch, actually. But obviously, I think probably my biggest soft spot for a Spanish team outside Valencia is probably Real Madrid. And always, I think we all love watching Real Madrid play.
And it's another one. It's just it was the kit that always attracted me to Real Madrid. Such a beautiful white and the gold, and I used to like Elche a
magnificent job.
Yeah, I like Madrid. They're the only team I can look to stop the English giants from picking up more European trophies. So every year the Madrid shirt's on at the minute.
But I used to like Elche because I've got a house in the south of Spain. They're our local team, but they just disappointed us. They didn't win a game until February last season. Bitter disappointment. They hurt my heart. But that's, again, the table. The table is what it is. I just think it's interesting to see Barcelona being quite comprehensive in their victories as well at the moment, which we shall see. We shall see. See what goes on in Syria. I don't know. Did you watch any Syria, Martin?
I'll be honest, I haven't seen any Serie A at all this season, but I will do. I will watch it. AC Milan is my team, is my Italian team. If I pick anyone, my boss actually went and played for them. I worked for a guy called Asmir Begovic. He was at QPR last year. He had a stint actually.
Just
AC
name
Milan.
drop in there.
Yeah, I was so excited when he went there. I was so excited. It was the year of COVID. COVID hit and he was on loan from Bournemouth to AC Milan. I was buzzing to go to the San Siro and COVID flattened it. We couldn't go watch football for about a year and a half, could we? So by the time we could go again, he was back in Bournemouth.
I don't. Where would you rather be, Milan or Bournemouth? Oh, choices. I mean, they're sort of the main takeaway game for me was Napoli-Parma. You mentioned about Bournemouth's very late comeback. Napoli were 1-0 down from the 19th minute until they brought on the might of Romelu Lukaku in the 92nd minute, who scored. And then Andre Frank Zambu-Anguissa in the 96th minute then got them ahead with a 2-1 victory then. So you want a late comeback. That is a late comeback. And the former Chelsea man, now fully fledged Napoli player, and coming on to substitute, score in 92nd minute, 96th minute winner. If you were Parma, you would be absolutely gutted.
Raging. Do you know what I love about the Italian league is there would never be a case. Well, it's very rarely that you get a case. I know Jadon Sancho's trying, but to try and play for a number of the top teams and sort of jump around, they just don't care over there. The amount of them that have played for Juventus and Inter and AC, and it's just it's a completely different mindset. Like just not bothered.
I mean,
apart from Raheem Sterling, I suppose. Raheem Sterling's the closest.
He's giving it a good. He's giving it a good go. But Nick mentions Osherman joining Galatasaray. I mean, interesting. I mean, I'll ask the both of you. I mean, the stance that the club and the manager took over Osherman. No, he's not included. We've left him out. No, we're not going to play him. Nothing's going to change now. And giving Lukaku his number 9 shirt. I mean, I quite like that. I mean, Martin, did you check that out? What do you think of that? Taking that hard stance against a player when the relationship breaks down like that.
You get some managers do it, don't they? They like to show his boss. And that's what it can be. Egos clash. Football, there's full of egos, unfortunately. There was no doubt a massive clash of egos there. I may be totally wrong, but that's how it looks to me.
I mean, the one thing, I will say, Osherman, for me, I don't think he's held himself in the greatest of lights in the way that he sort of dealt with stuff. However, what I would say is people need to remember where it all stemmed from was the club putting out vaguely racist tweets and him taking exception to that. So whilst it's nice to see people taking a stance against football, let's just remember in his defense, before everybody piles on him, it was a response to them sort of not defending him and making sort of questionable racist tweets out there and him taking exception to it. So whilst it is good to take a stand at the same time, I think, it's Italian football, isn't it? I think this it seems to be a terrible habit of that. But I mean, the other result which everyone would pick up on, and I'm sure Graham saw the Utility FC, Charlotte would be chuffed a bit. Old Lecky, beat Cagliari 1-0. Won a game of football, and that shoots them up from bottom of the table where they were last week to 13th. Woohoo! But we'll pick up on that. We'll pick up on the other ones as the league develops. We'll start to get a little bit more excited about European football. In the Bundesliga,
you missed the main transfer as well. Osman was trumped today, but the huge transfer, Chris Smalling to Saudi Arabia. The huge transfer.
No.
I mean, if you thought Ronaldo's going to transform that league,
what a waste of talent.
They now have the super centre-half goal-scoring free-kick merchant that is Chris Smalling. There you go.
Waste.
We're going to have to cover this Saudi league with all the legends out there now,
Oh, I tell you what, honestly, just a waste. I mean, but under the Bundesliga, I mean, one thing people will notice is Heidenheim, who was struggling heavily last season, top of the league with 6 goals scored, none conceded, which took me by surprise. A 4-0 victory this week over Augsburg. So that was certainly interesting. But the time had to come. It had to happen at some point. The world's most handsomest former midfielder, now manager, Xavi Alonso, lost a game of football. You didn't think it was going to happen. It did. RB Leipzig, they went 2-0 up in the first half, 30th and 45th minute, which going to be Frimpong and Grimaldo scoring. This wasn't even sort of a last minute gasp. They just got sort of dominated in the second half by Leipzig with goals in the right at the end, 7 minutes of extra time after the first half, but then the 57th minute and the 80th minute. So there was time in the game for them to sort of reassert themselves, but they couldn't get a grip, and it was going to happen. They were going to lose one day, and this is that day. It's a sad day, but let's not get too upset. Don't get too emotional, because I'm sure he'll pick up, and he won't regret not coming to Liverpool and staying in the Bundesliga. The SPFL, I've actually got the right games this week. Look at that. Last week I did put the Scottish Championship up there instead of the Premiership, but it happens. but yeah. So this is the league. This is stuff that's happening in Scotland. Martin, do you follow Scottish football? Because I certainly don't.
No, I don't watch a lot of it, to be honest.
Oh,
I just
no.
see the goals that come up on Sky Sports News, to be honest. But I obviously see all the goals from the Celtic Rangers game. Celtic with winning the derby, the big game. It's the big one, isn't it, up there? They're so fanatical about Celtic Rangers. But no, I don't watch anywhere near enough. And the games I have seen, some of the standard of some of it is dreadful.
I've been Graham saying, no, Rebecca here for Aberdeen report. Yeah, and it's not Dundee. I keep thinking she supports Dundee, but it's not. It's Aberdeen.
She's Dundee, isn't she? I don't think she's got players everywhere, but no, she's it's Dundee usually. Yeah.
Oh, is it Dundee? Well, I got it though. Well, stuff you, Graham. You made me look like a right willy. God. But we're talking about fan reaction. I mean, I also saw the fan reaction for Rangers losing 3-0 and not starting the league off very strongly. They're already calling for the manager's head, giving him loads of abuse, going after him on Twitter. It's very, very quite reaction heavy there at the moment. They're very upset. And GT's calling me and Graham out. It is Dundee. So I was right. I was right when I thought it was Dundee this week. I actually got it right. I doubted myself, trusted Graham, who just made me look like a silly willy. So thank you very much. I did. I've said she supports any team in Scotland, I think, at one point. Nick said up the boys there. So Celtic, very likely, going to win the league again. Who knew? Who would have thunk it? Sam, if you got your thing, did the Big Shanks play? Did he do anything?
They lost 1-0 to Dundee United, so I don't think so. I think I'm just checking the lineup to make sure that Shanks he was about, but didn't score. But on SofaScore gave him a 7.3, so a respectable performance from the Big Shanks. You can't have it every week, can you?
That exactly, and it's not always jam. Over to Eredivisie, and PSV still scoring goals for fun. They're just living it. A 3-0, respectable 3-0 victory at the moment, but 18 goals in 4 games, only 3 conceded. You don't see a goal difference of plus 15 after 4 games very often. So well done, PSV. They just keep going. Just what a machine. What a machine. Well, I'm very nerved, though, so I'm not sure if you noticed, but our podcast favorite, Wowick, 18th, 4 losses, conceded 12 goals. That's unnerving time for Wowick.
It's not a great start, is it? It's not a great start. It's a risk. It's a risk. Maybe they need a change of. Who's the manager? Who do we need to get onto to sort this out? Henk Fraser. Come on, Henk.
Henk. Henk, down with Henk. Sack him immediately. See, everybody loves a little bit of Wowick. It is damn you, Henk, for just spoiling it for us. But again, we're not going to focus too much on the league at the moment because it's still early days. But it is very exciting to see PSV scoring all the goals. And guess who's a PSV? I'm interested to see who their main goal scorer is because I thought it was wasn't it Luke De Jong last time? I'm sure that's who's been banging the goals in for them. Luke De Jong still scoring for days, mate. Scoring for days. And that's his stand. I think I'm going to go and play in PSV. And Graham brought up an interesting point. Might be a conversation for another podcast, but Valencia introducing dynamic pricing to their ticket prices. They must have seen Ticketmaster with Oasis this week. So dynamic pricing. There's a way to make money. My understanding is what they're planning on doing is they're releasing tickets at a price, and as it gets closer to the game and the demand increases, the prices will then go up. So if you leave it till like the day of the game, you're going to be paying a maximum value for the tickets, whether against buying them when they first come out, which that could certainly upset a few people. Let's hope that doesn't come into over here, but we'll certainly perhaps. But what do you think? Should we bring that as a conversation piece? Do you think when we have a bit more time to think about it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that needs a proper discussion on pros and cons.
Yeah, Graham, why are you bringing it up right at the end of the podcast when we want to go to bed? God, Graham! Oh, God!
We need your spreadsheet, Graham. Pros and cons. Put it together.
Yeah, go on, get it ready for next week. We want Graham's pros and Graham's cons. And we don't mean convicts. Your positives and negatives. Let us know, Graham. Keeping an eye open for you there. It's really fun. See my chat from before, Josh, about something from the French League 10 minutes ago. I didn't. I missed that. Oh, and Stephen Bergwijn from Ajax. Everybody. They just saw the big names. The big names are going to Saudi Arabia.
The window's still open, isn't it? The Saudi window. I don't know when it shuts. Is it at the end of the month, or there's still possibility that some crazy things can happen.
What did I see that they were linked? They were linked with a Premier League player. I saw
Anthony.
Oh,
is it Anthony?
I'm
sure it's Anthony. Better be
you
Anthony.
wish it wasn't Anthony. It was somebody that was like half decent for a team that really needed him. God, that's going to annoy the balls off me now. Here's Nick. So, Spenny fan Chris, in preparation for League Bordeaux played their first game in National 2 Group B against Bordeaux Stamp Hove and drew 1-1 after their problem relegation from League One. That was sad. That was sad, Bordeaux going down. It hit my heart a little bit. But as always, PSG, screw you for spoiling French football and making what's normally an interesting league into a boring one because you suck. But below, very, very tight. And only 3 games. Don't get too excited. But what's it? We got 3 points separating half the league. In essence, beautiful. That's what you want to see. Take off. And don't worry, people. Once we get to a point, probably next week, or the week after, I'm just going to start cutting off PSG again, as we have done every season. We shall keep up with tradition and remove PSG from league. But Sam will be pleased to see Brest are no longer at the bottom. The league is no longer atomically incorrect as Brest won 4-0 against St Etienne, which boosted them up to 12th. Isn't that nice? Just for you, I think. They heard you and they did it just for you.
They said step it up. Go. Just looking at PSG, because is it Dembele went there, wasn't it? Has he been playing for them?
They just spoil football over there. They just made it an unexciting league. I don't really know who's there anymore.
The team's just random now. Again, like Marco Asensio's over there. They've got Kolo Muani, Hakimi's still there.
Gianluigi Donnarumma.
Bradley Barcola, he's the young kid, isn't he? Yeah.
But I mean, and look, I've got Graham there, lower in the tone. You'd never get anything like this from me.
Oh,
Graham. This just has no place on a podcast such as this.
It's not looking like it's going to get any better because I think their next game, their head-to-heads just popped up. PSG have a 16-0 up in their head-to-head against Brest. So next week, maybe it's the time. Time for a shot.
Yeah, we'll all get behind you. We'll all get behind Brest to overcome the might of PSG because you suck. Nobody likes you. But that's it. We're finished now. It's past my bedtime. I'm very tired and they're starting to act up and becoming awfully childish. Someone who hasn't misbehaved, who's been an asset to have this evening. What a wonder, what a privilege it is to have you this evening, Martin. Thank you very much for gracing our slovenly podcast. I hope you weren't too upset by some of our chat just lowering the tone.
I enjoyed it. It was good.
But no, thank you for enjoying this. And if people want more Martin, which I'm sure they will, where can they get more Martin Sanders in their life?
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok at @footballmartin_. Same on YouTube as well. Subscribe to my channels. Not only do I create Southampton related content, every game I go to, I will work with the opposition fans and bring you content from your club as well. Get to the heartbeat of every fan base at every game I go to. So I create content consistently. So I'm definitely worth a follow.
Well, please do check him out. And again, thank you for joining us. It's been really good to have you here because Sam and I, we would have just floundered. We would have just floundered if it was the two of us. But with Sam here, there's always a chance that things will go well. The man, I just love hearing those silky tones. Sam, where can people get more of those sumptuous Samuel tones?
So you can follow me on their Twitter, which is at SamAbsoluteFBL. And I'm still doing, I've had a week off because I've been on holiday. It's some EFL content, which is on YouTube, on your YouTube channel at SamAbsoluteEFL. I've been doing match day reports, maybe taking far too long. So I'm switching it up now. I'm back. And I think I'm preparing more of an overview per club. So I'm preparing Blackburn Rovers at a minute, an interesting one on Blackburn Rovers. And I'm hoping to do a video about Louis Barry, of course, Claire's favourite Stockport striker, coming up in the next week or two. So that is at SamAbsoluteEFL.
Oh, so make sure you do follow Mark. Make sure you do follow Sam. Thank you. Of course, the big thing for us, please do show us some love. If you've been watching on YouTube, guess what? It's free totally free to subscribe. You don't get any benefit, but what you do get is our love and appreciation and a warm glow feeling inside of yourself that you've done something good for somebody else. Isn't that lovely? What a beautiful place the world would be if you all subscribed to the Absolute Football Podcast. That is the road, the path to world peace and harmony, and just to make your world a better place. Subscribe to Absolute Football Podcast on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter as well at Absolute Ball Pod. Twitch, we've also Absolute Football Podcast, and on the tick boom, we are at Absolute Football Pod. We're actually able to go live on TikTok now, so that might happen at some point. Although it'd be dangerous, very dangerous putting some of us live. Maybe we'll give it to Claire. That'll be a hoot. And Instagram, Absolute Football Podcast, same thing on Threads, and the Absolute Football Podcast on Facebook. On Mondays, of course, we cover the Premier League and all European football. As you can see, this evening's Martin would have experienced a very comprehensive, in-depth review of European football. And on Wednesdays, it is hashtag Team Chaos, the women's football show. Please do check that out if you have any interest in women's football at all. The team will have you covered. Some fabulous conversation, really good in-depth analysis, and they're professional and they talk well and they know things. So it's definitely a step up from a Monday, and you'll certainly be educated and you won't regret it. And on Thursdays, the Wowdy Wabble, the award-winning Absolutely Lower League, headed up by Charlotte, and how she takes control of that team, I have no idea, but what a hero she is. So please do check them out on Thursdays, and all the shows 8:30, and they're here following the next day on all the good audio platforms and one of the bad ones, and I'll let you guess which one that is. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening, and just remember that God loves you, Jesus loves you, so does Sam and Martin. And what would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? A pleasant evening, TTFN. Good ta-ta for now.